Jesus explains the last day, narrated by Daniel. When I say something 3 times, I say it to impress my word upon the heart. To Peter and to all those who love me, 3 times I said, feed my sheep. Therefore, when I repeat something 3 times, consider it very, very important. And consider carefully what I am saying and why I am repeating my words. Therefore, when I said that I will raise all that believe in me on the last day, and repeated it 3 times, yea, 4 times, I meant it. And therefore, do not believe those who teach that the resurrection, the rapture, will happen in parts or in stages. The first resurrection is a one-day, one-time event. On that day, I will bring those who sleep in Christ, and they will be raised first. And then those of you who are alive and remain will be changed in the twinkling of an eye, and will be caught up together with them to meet me in the air on the last day. Remember, one day, one event, one first resurrection on the last day. And what do I mean by the last day? Let me explain. The last day is the last day of the 70-week prophecy given to my prophet Daniel. The last day is the last day of Daniel's 70th week. The last day is the last day of the 1,260-day Great Tribulation. The last day is the last day of the times of the Gentiles. The last day is the day I will raise to life my 2 witnesses, together with all believers. The last day is when the 7th last trump of God will sound. The last day is the day when the mystery of God shall be finished, as declared to God's servants the prophets, which is the resurrection of all believers on the last day. The last day is when the kingdoms of the world become my kingdoms, at the 7th last trump of God. The last day is when the rapture happens, when I will raise all believers in me in a one-day, one-time event. The last day is when I shall send my angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together my elect from the 4 directions on earth, and I shall take them from the uttermost part of earth to the uttermost part of heaven for the marriage supper of the Lamb. Once again, the last day is when the first resurrection happens, commonly called the rapture of all believers in a one-day, one-time event on the last day. Let no man deceive you by any means. The last day shall not come, except there be a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the Antichrist, who shall exalt himself above all that is called God, and that includes all religions, so that he can sit in the 3rd Jewish temple as God, showing himself that he is God. Remember, I have told you these things before they come to pass, that when they begin to come to pass, you might believe on what is still to happen. Let me illustrate. The last day is the last day of Daniel's 70th week prophecy, the last day of Daniel's 70th week, the last day of the 1,260-day Great Tribulation, the last day of the times of the Gentiles. What happens on the last day? The last day is when I will resurrect my 2 witnesses. The last day is when the 7th last trump of God sounds. The last day is when the mystery of God shall be finished. The last day is when the kingdoms of the world become my kingdoms. The last day is when the rapture happens immediately after the Great Tribulation. The last day is when I will raise all believers. The last day is when the first resurrection happens. I understand this last day presentation raises many questions. For example, if the sixth seal is the rapture that happens when the sun and the moon go dark, and the seventh seal reveals the seven trumpets, the question arises, how could the sixth seal rapture happen at the seventh trump?